Hey guys, Ronnie here from Cold Blood Creations. We have been listening to some of our bearded dragon customers, and you guys are telling us that you're having a difficult time finding the appropriate size feeder insects. So in this video, we're going to teach you how to set up mealworms, and we're also going to teach you how to breed your own mealworms. Now, before we get into that, let me clarify something that I think some of you guys may have been a little confused about. We've gotten a lot of messages from people saying, I want to raise my bearded dragon exclusively on mealworms. Now, although there have been people that have done that and have done it successfully, that is not something we recommend. We recommend a varied diet that will consist of many different insects, crickets, probably roaches, mealworms, superworms, and the like. But because mealworms are something that is readily available and very easy to breed, we're going to show you how to set up a breeding and feeding colony of mealworms for your dragon's nutritional benefit. Now, when you go to a bait store or to a pet store and you buy, especially mealworms, you're only going to be able to buy one size, and that's usually these adult size mealworms like this. Now, unfortunately, these mealworms here are way too big for a baby dragon. They're going to need this size mealworms. Now you can see there's quite a bit of difference between the mealworm that your dragon is going to need and the mealworms that you're going to find available at a local pet store or a bait and tackle store. So what you're going to have to do, unfortunately, is you're going to have to learn how to breed your own mealworms. Now, we will also provide these to our customers who buy bearded dragons from us, but we want to teach you how to go about breeding your own mealworms, and we're going to start by how to set them up once you buy your initial adult mealworms. So one of the things you're going to have to take in consideration when you get mealworms is what are you going to house them in? And to be honest with you, it's really a pretty simple choice. You can use an old aquarium, you can use a plastic box. We like to use these cat litter pans. They're deep enough to keep the mealworms in. They don't climb out of these readily. They're very easy to clean and disinfect. So we just recommend a plastic storage tub like this. And the size is basically going to depend on how many mealworms. If you're only going to buy 100 mealworms, something like this will work. If you're going to buy 1,000 mealworms at a time, then you may want to consider going up to like a blanket box by Sterilite or something of that sort. Now, your mealworms are going to need something to eat and something to bed down in. And we got you covered. This is Insect Buffet. This is the exact bedding that we use here. We use this to gut load all of our insects. In fact, we have this made especially for us here at Cold Blood Creations because we do breed our own insects. Now, what you're going to do when you get this stuff is basically just open it up and pour it right in the bottom of whatever you choose to house your mealworms in. Now we just empty the entire thing and then simply shake it around like so. You want to cover up the bottom. And then the next thing you're going to need, and when you order your mealworms, you're probably going to get some of these. If you order in a box of 1,000, they will send you some of these. If not, you can go to a Tractor Supply and you can buy, that is cardboard egg crates. So these cardboard egg crates are these little things right here. You can buy these at Tractor Supply and places like that, or you can recycle them if you buy your eggs several dozen at a time. Basically, all you want to do is place one of these into your container. Now, if you use these smaller containers like this, you may have to cut them in half. You want them to lay all the way down inside there like so. And now you're simply going to add your adult mealworms to this container. So now you've got your mealworms, a cage to live in, you've got food on the bottom, you've got your egg crate in here. This is going to give them somewhere to climb, somewhere to hide. Now we just take potatoes and cut little slices like this. You can also use the insect watering gels. We also carry those by the bag if you decide you want to use insect watering gels instead of potatoes. and just place them on the top of the cardboard. Now the reason we place them on these little egg crates is so they don't get all nasty down inside your food. You don't want to get your food wet because it will mold. So we recommend the potato slices to go on the top of the egg crates. Now in just a short period of time, these mealworms are going to change into these little guys right here. Now these guys here, we call them aliens. They look like something out of a science fiction movie, but basically they'll change into this and then into these. Now you're halfway on your way to breeding your own mealworms at this point. So shortly after they transform into these little guys, they will emerge as beetles. Now these beetles, once again, they're going to need to feed off of your insect buffet. They also need potatoes to drink. They will turn into these little black beetles. These beetles will then begin to breed, and then in time your tub is going to fill up with literally thousands of these little size mealworms like this one right here. And that's the size that you need to feed your baby dragons. Now every so often you're going to have to clean this out. We do recommend a sifting screen that will make life a lot easier for you to sift the different sizes. But that is pretty much it. They're really simple to do. All you have to do is make sure about twice a week you're changing out fresh potatoes. Take the old potatoes out, put in fresh potatoes, and about every so often you want to change the bedding out, put in fresh insect buffet. They will eat it down to a fine powder. Once it gets to a fine powder, you just simply discard it, add some new insect buffet. So now one of the things that people have asked us, and that obviously is, well, why can't we just skip breeding the mealworms and go straight to feeding our baby dragons the adult mealworms? And well, it's simple as this. The general rule for feeding a baby bearded dragon is that the insect prey should be no larger than the space between the dragon's eyes. Now, a large mealworm is going to be very difficult for a dragon to swallow, much less to digest. So you want to keep them to these small sizes. It allows your dragon to digest them readily. It also allows them to be easier to swallow. You don't want this little bitty dragon fighting with this big worm trying to get it down his throat. So remember to keep the appropriate size insects about the width between the dragon's eyes. Whether you're feeding mealworms, crickets, or roaches, that is a good general rule and general practice. All right, guys, so for those of you who are buying bearded dragons from us, you're going to be having them shipped overnight. So if you guys need any mealworms included with your bearded dragon shipment, let us know. We can ship you either some small mealworms that are already the appropriate size for your bearded dragon to eat. We can ship you some larger mealworms that'll start you a good breeder colony, or we can ship both. We just we won't charge you any shipping, being we're going to be shipping your dragon to you anyway. We'll just include it in your order. Also, if you need any food for the insects, the insect buffet we have available. If you guys want any of that included in your dragon order, please let us know. Once again, we want to say thank you for watching Cold Blood Creations here on YouTube.